Starlight Keep HFY presents
The Luminary Accord.
Chapter 1, Signs and Omens. The observation deck of Starlight Keep loomed over an endless ocean of stars, the station's colossal silhouette framed against the ethereal glow of a shimmering nebula, its colors swirling like a living masterpiece. Ambassador Seraphine Moonshadow stood by the transparent wall, her silver eyes reflecting the stars. Clad in elegant robes that flowed like liquid night, she exuded a calm authority. "Ambassador, have you noticed anything unusual lately?" asked Kalen, a Carillion scholar with emerald crystals embedded in his skin. He joined her at the window, his gaze distant. Seraphine turned to him. "Unusual how?" He gestured toward the nebula. "The stars. They're flickering in patterns that defy known celestial mechanics." She followed his gaze. Indeed, several stars pulsed erratically, creating a cosmic rhythm that felt both mesmerizing and unsettling. Just then, a soft chime echoed along with an announcement. "Ambassador Moonshadow, please report to the council chamber immediately." Seraphine exchanged a concerned glance with Kalen. "It seems we're about to find out more." Minutes later, she entered the Grand Council Chamber, a circular room where representatives from countless species convened. "Esteemed members," began Elder Thalos, a wise Lumaran with a halo of luminescent tendrils, "our galaxy is experiencing unprecedented celestial events." Holographic displays lit up, showing stars flickering, gravitational anomalies, and energy pulses spiraling through space. Seraphine studied the images. "Have we identified the cause?" Elder Thalos shook his head. "No, but ancient artifacts across multiple worlds have activated simultaneously, displaying cryptic messages." Whispers filled the room. Seraphine raised a hand. "May I see these messages?" A hologram projected intricate symbols and patterns, languages long lost to history. "They all predict a convergence called the Luminary Alignment," Thalos explained. "Some see it as enlightenment, others fear catastrophe." Seraphine's mind raced. "What do you require of me?" "We need you to lead a coalition to decipher these prophecies and prevent any potential disaster." She took a deep breath. "I accept the responsibility." As the meeting adjourned, a familiar voice called out, "Looks like you've got your work cut out for you." She turned to see Captain Jack Mitchell, a human envoy with a relaxed smile and sharp eyes. "Jack," she acknowledged, "what brings you here?" "Got wind of some cosmic trouble. Thought I'd offer a hand." She arched an elegant eyebrow. "Your timing is impeccable." He grinned. "Isn't it always?" Seraphine's lips curved into a faint, amused smile as she crossed her arms. "All right, then," she said, a teasing glint in her eye. "I might just take you up on that offer, assuming it doesn't end in complete disaster." Back in her quarters, Seraphine sifted through the data. The symbols swirled before her, each one a piece of a vast puzzle. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. "Enter," she said. The door slid open to reveal Dr. Nova Glorindal, a human astrophysicist with curly dark hair and keen eyes behind stylish glasses. "Ambassador, I heard about the mission. I'd like to help," Nova said confidently. Seraphine considered her. "Your expertise is in unconventional theories, is it not?" Nova nodded. "Sometimes thinking differently is exactly what's needed." Seraphine gestured to the seat beside her. "Then let's begin." They worked late into the night cycle, cross-referencing the symbols with known and obscure languages. As they progressed, Seraphine felt a glimmer of hope. Nova leaned back. "These patterns, they're not just linguistic. They're mathematical, musical even." Seraphine looked at her. "Explain." Nova's eyes sparkled. What if these prophecies combine language with harmonics, a multidimensional message? Seraphine pondered this. It's a bold theory. Bold is my specialty, Nova quipped. A notification flashed on the screen, an urgent message from the council. Seraphine read it quickly. They want an update. Nova stood. I'll keep working on this. Maybe Jack can help with the harmonics. He's quite the musician. Seraphine paused. I wasn't aware. Nova smiled. There's a lot you might not know about humans. In the council chamber, Seraphine faced the elders. Progress is underway, she reported. I've brought in human specialists to aid our efforts. Murmurs of disapproval rippled through the room. An elder with steely eyes spoke up. Ambassador, are you certain that's wise? Humans are unpredictable. Seraphine met his gaze steadily. Their unique perspectives could be the key we need. Elder Thalos interjected, Let us trust Ambassador Moonshadow's judgment. The council reluctantly agreed. As she exited, Jack fell into step beside her. How'd it go? About as expected, she replied. Not everyone is thrilled about human involvement. He shrugged. We'll just have to prove them wrong. She glanced at him. I hope you're right. He flashed a reassuring smile. Always am. Back in the Eldritch Library Research Lab, Nova was surrounded by floating holograms of star charts and waveforms. Jack joined them, humming a tune. Nova tells me you have musical talents, Seraphine said. Jack grinned. I dabble? Why? Nova pointed to the waveforms. We think the prophecies might have an auditory component. Can you help us interpret them? He studied the patterns. Looks like sheet music from another dimension. Seraphine watched as the two humans collaborated, their energy infectious. Perhaps their unconventional methods were exactly what was needed. A sudden surge of excitement filled the room. I think we've got something, Nova exclaimed. Jack adjusted the frequencies. If we translate these patterns into sound, a harmonious melody filled the air, haunting and beautiful. Seraphine felt a chill. What does it mean? Nova's expression turned serious. It's a warning. The Luminary Alignment could destabilize the core systems. Jack nodded. We need to act fast. Seraphine's resolve hardened. Then we must assemble a team immediately. As they geared up for the next steps, Seraphine tapped her fingers against her armrest, her gaze distant. The humans had shared fresh insights, unexpectedly clever ones even, but a nagging thought gnawed at her. Time was slipping through their fingers like sand, and she couldn't help but wonder, was it going to be enough, or were they just delaying the inevitable? Glancing out through the observation window, she watched the stars flicker in their eerie dance. Hold on, she whispered to the cosmos. We're coming. Chapter 2, Gathering Allies. The corridors of Starlight Keep bustled with a mix of species, each unique yet united under the station's banner of peace. Ambassador Seraphine Moonshadow walked swiftly toward the central hub, her mind focused on assembling the team needed to avert the looming disaster. Beside her, Captain Jack Mitchell matched her pace. So, where do we start? He asked. Seraphine glanced at him. We need experts from various fields, people who can think beyond conventional boundaries. Jack smirked. Well, you've already got me and Dr. Glorindal. That's a solid start. She allowed a small smile. Indeed, but we'll need more. As they entered the central hub, a grand hall with holographic displays of galaxies and star systems, they spotted Cale Varin, a renowned star mapper from the Solthane species, whose skin shimmered like opal. Ambassador, Cale greeted, his voice melodic. I heard about the mission. How can I assist? Your knowledge of star patterns is unparalleled, Seraphine said. "We need your expertise to understand the celestial anomalies." He bowed his head. "It would be my honor." Jack's communicator buzzed. "Excuse me," he said, stepping aside. Seraphine continued scanning the hall. "We also need someone familiar with ancient technologies." A soft voice spoke up. "Perhaps I can help." Turning, Seraphine saw Nia Solari, a historian from the Seraphine species, with delicate wind G's folded gracefully behind her. "Your work on the relics of the ancients is well regarded," Seraphine said. Nia smiled gently. "I've studied artifacts that might be connected to these prophecies." "Welcome aboard," Seraphine replied. Jack returned, a thoughtful look on his face. "I just got word from Dr. Glorindal. She's made another breakthrough." In the Eldritch Library, Dr. Nova Glorindal darted between floating data screens, her fingers flicking at holograms as charts and equations spiraled around her. Her eyes sparkled, and a wide grin tugged at her lips as she let out a soft, triumphant laugh. Even the other librarians paused, exchanging knowing smirks. When Nova was this animated, it usually meant she was onto something big. "Look at this," she said as they entered. "By layering the harmonic frequencies over the star maps, patterns emerge." Kale stepped forward, eyes widening. "These alignments correspond with constellations that haven't been visible for millennia." Nia examined the data, and these symbols match those found on artifacts from the celestial archives. Jack looked between them. "So, what does it all mean?" Nova took a deep breath. "I believe it's pointing us to a specific location, the Veil of Shadows." Seraphine's expression turned serious. "That's one of the most treacherous regions in the galaxy." Kale nodded. "Navigating it is nearly impossible due to gravitational distortions." Jack crossed his arms. "Sounds like a challenge." Seraphine considered their options. "If the answers we seek are there, we have no choice." Nia added, "The ancients may have left something behind to help us, a device or knowledge we can use." Jack grinned. "Then it's settled. We assemble a crew and head out." Nova hesitated. "There's more. The window to act is closing. We have less time than we thought." Seraphine's eyes met Jack's. "Then we must move quickly." The team gathered in one of the docking bays, where the starship Luminary Hope awaited. Sleek and equipped with advanced technology, it was designed for difficult missions. As they prepared to board, a group of council members approached, led by Elder Maris, a stern figure with piercing eyes. "Ambassador Moonshadow," Maris began, "we question the inclusion of so many humans on this critical mission." Seraphine stood tall. "Their contributions have been invaluable. We need their unique perspectives." Maris frowned. "Humans are impulsive. This mission requires caution." Jack stepped forward. "With all due respect, Elder, we're all on the same side here. We want to save the galaxy as much as anyone." Maris regarded him coolly. "See that your actions reflect that." Seraphine placed a hand on Jack's arm, a subtle reminder to stay composed. "We appreciate your concerns, Elder. Rest assured, the mission is in capable hands." Maris gave a curt nod before departing. Jack exhaled. "Friendly bunch." Kale smiled softly. "Don't take it personally. Change is difficult for some." Nia added, "What matters is that we succeed." Seraphine looked at her assembled team. "Agreed. Let's not waste any more time." As the Luminary Hope departed Starlight Keep, the crew settled into their roles. Jack navigated the ship with practiced ease, while Nova and Kale worked on refining their calculations. In the mess hall, Nia approached Seraphine. "May I ask you something?" "Of course," Seraphine replied. "Do you trust the humans?" Nia's eyes searched hers. Seraphine considered her answer. I trust in their abilities and their intentions. They bring a perspective that we sometimes lack. Nia nodded slowly. I hope your faith is well placed. Seraphine smiled gently. So do I. On the bridge, Jack monitored the ship's progress. We're approaching the outer edges of the Veil of Shadows, he announced. Nova joined him. The readings are off the charts. Gravitational anomalies everywhere. Jack glanced at her. Think we can navigate it? She grinned. With our combined genius? Absolutely. He chuckled. That's the spirit. Seraphine entered the bridge. How are we faring? Jack replied. We'll need to stay sharp, but I think we've got this. Kyle studied the data. There's a safe passage if we adjust our course by 3 degrees. Jack made the adjustments. Hang on, everyone. The ship shuddered slightly as they entered the Veil of Shadows. Outside the viewport, space seemed to twist and ripple. Nia whispered, It's like the fabric of reality is fraying. Seraphine placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. We'll make it through. As they delved deeper, sudden turbulence rocked the ship. Gravity wells ahead! Nova called out. Jack's hands flew over the controls, diverting power to stabilizers. Kyle's voice was steady. Maintain this heading. Any deviation could be disastrous. The crew worked in unison, tension high but spirits unwavering. After several harrowing minutes, the ship burst through the Veil of Shadows, its hull rattling one last time before silence settled over the bridge. The view beyond the viewport shifted abruptly. A vast, serene stretch of unbroken space greeted them, its stillness a stark contrast to the chaos they'd just left behind. Everyone exhaled. Jack slumped back in his chair, running a hand through his hair as he let out a low whistle. Cale leaned against his console, his shoulders finally easing from their rigid stance. Nova sat down heavily, rubbing her temples with a shaky laugh. Nia gripped the edge of her seat, her knuckles slowly regaining color as her tense fingers relaxed. Seraphine remained standing, her gaze fixed on the tranquil expanse outside. Her chest rose and fell in a controlled breath, but the flicker of relief in her eyes was unmistakable. Around her, the crew exchanged small, silent nods, a wordless acknowledgement that they had made it through, safely. Well done, Seraphine said, relief evident in her voice. Jack grinned. Never doubted us for a second. Nova pointed ahead. Look. Before them stood a colossal structure, a nexus of swirling light and ancient architecture. The harmonic nexus, Nia breathed. Seraphine's eyes shone. We've found it.